Kindness. It's the virtue celebrated by poets, philosophers, and sages. But what if I told you that kindness could ruin your life? Yes, ruin. Curious? Stay with me, and I'll explain. Before we dive in, let's start this conversation with a little exercise. Type the phrase, "kindness is strength," in the comments below. Let's see how many of us understand the paradox of this virtue. 1. Kindness without boundaries breeds resentment. Let's start with a hard truth. Kindness without boundaries is a recipe for resentment. It's a pattern many of us fall into. You give, and you give, and you give, until one day you feel drained, bitter, and unappreciated. Marcus Aurelius teaches us to act in harmony with our nature. This means giving freely without expecting reciprocation, but also recognizing when giving becomes self-sacrifice. Think of a candle. A candle burns to give light, but if it burns too brightly or too quickly, it extinguishes itself. That's the danger of boundary-less kindness. Instead of fostering connection and goodwill, it leaves you empty, frustrated, and even resentful toward those you initially sought to help. Consider this scenario. A friend frequently borrows money from you. At first, you oblige because you want to help. Over time, the requests become more frequent and the repayment sporadic. You start feeling uncomfortable, but you're afraid of ruining the friendship if you say no. Over time, what started as an act of kindness becomes a source of tension. The Stoics remind us that true kindness comes from a place of inner strength, not obligation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is in your power whenever you choose to retire into yourself." This means stepping back and evaluating your actions. Are you giving because it aligns with your values, or because you fear disappointing others? Establishing boundaries is not selfish, it's essential. When you protect your energy, you ensure that your kindness remains genuine and not forced. Here's a practical exercise. The next time someone asks for your help, pause. Ask yourself, do I have the resources, time, energy, or money to help without compromising my well-being? If the answer is no, it's okay to decline. In fact, it's necessary. Reflect on this. Kindness, when overextended, doesn't just hurt you. It diminishes the quality of your interactions. When you give with resentment, people feel it. But when you give from a place of balance, your kindness becomes a powerful and sustainable force. 2. Overkindness can attract exploiters. Here's a sobering thought. Not everyone has noble intentions. Marcus Aurelius observed that human nature is a mix of virtues and flaws. He wrote, "The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane." In this context, insanity refers to losing oneself in the chaos of misguided relationships and interactions. When you're overly kind, especially without discernment, you risk attracting people who see your generosity as an opportunity to exploit. These individuals aren't necessarily evil. Often they're simply acting out of their own desperation or habits. However, their actions can still harm you. Imagine a gardener who allows weeds to overtake their crops. Initially, the weeds seem harmless, even insignificant. But left unchecked, they choke the life out of the plants. Similarly, unchecked kindness toward those who exploit it can suffocate your sense of balance and fairness. Here's a personal reflection exercise. Think of someone in your life who always seems to need your help, but rarely reciprocates. How do their actions make you feel? Do they uplift you or drain you? Marcus Aurelius advises us to treat others as they are, but to protect ourselves from their flaws. This isn't about cutting people off, but about being vigilant in recognizing when a relationship becomes one-sided. Set boundaries with clarity and kindness. A simple statement like, "I wish I could help, but I have other commitments," is enough. You owe no long explanations. Remember, kindness is most powerful when it is given freely, not extracted through guilt or manipulation. Would you like me to expand the remaining points? Let me know. This approach ensures each section is detailed and reflective, aligning with your request. 3. The trap of seeking approval. Kindness often morphs into something insidious when it becomes tied to the need for approval. Marcus Aurelius warned against this trap, writing, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This contradiction sits at the heart of approval-seeking behavior. When your kindness stems from a desire to be liked, admired, or accepted, it loses its authenticity. You may begin to say yes to requests that overextend you, offer help when you're already exhausted, or tolerate disrespect just to maintain the illusion of harmony. Over time, this erodes your sense of self-worth. Let's consider an example. You're in a group project at work, and everyone looks to you to handle the difficult tasks because they know you're capable and accommodating. You take on the work, not because you want to, but because you fear the judgment of saying no. At first, your colleagues might express gratitude, but as this dynamic repeats, their appreciation diminishes. Instead of feeling valued, you feel used. Approval-seeking kindness is a trap that leads to burnout and dissatisfaction. Marcus Aurelius encourages us to act according to reason and principle, not to gain fleeting validation. To free yourself from this cycle, start by reflecting on your motivations. Ask yourself, am I doing this because it aligns with my values, or because I fear judgment? Here's an actionable step. The next time you're tempted to say yes to something out of fear of disapproval, pause and breathe. Take a moment to remind yourself of your priorities. It's okay to say no politely but firmly. True respect comes from integrity, not from people-pleasing. When you prioritize self-respect over external validation, your kindness becomes a genuine expression of your character, not a tool to manipulate others' perceptions. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, to live happily is an inward power of the soul. Seek approval from within, not from others. That's where true kindness begins. Point 4. Kindness can cloud justice. Kindness and justice often walk a fine line, and when kindness overshadows justice, it can lead to unintended harm. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not suppose because you find one thing difficult that it is impossible, but recognize that if it is humanly possible, you can do it too." This applies to the delicate task of balancing compassion with fairness. Imagine a parent who always forgives their child's mistakes without consequence. While this might feel kind in the moment, it ultimately robs the child of the opportunity to learn accountability and resilience. Justice, in this case, is the kindest act the parent can offer. Now consider how this principle applies to your life. Have you ever avoided giving honest feedback to a friend or colleague because you didn't want to hurt their feelings? Perhaps you've allowed poor behavior to continue unchecked because addressing it felt too uncomfortable. This reluctance, though rooted in kindness, can perpetuate harm. Marcus Aurelius believed that acting justly is a duty we owe to ourselves and others. Justice ensures that kindness serves its higher purpose, rather than becoming an enabler of dysfunction. To practice this, start by being honest with yourself and others. When faced with a situation requiring tough love, frame your actions as an investment in growth, not as a punishment. Here's a reflection exercise. Think of a recent situation where your kindness may have compromised justice. What could you have done differently to balance the two? Commit to addressing such situations with both compassion and fairness in the future. True kindness is not always easy or gentle, but it is always rooted in the desire to promote the greater good. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the universe is orderly, and our actions should align with that order. Injustice disrupts harmony. Kindness, guided by reason, restores it. 5. Sacrificing your dreams for others. One of the most dangerous ways kindness can ruin your life is by distracting you from your own aspirations. Marcus Aurelius urged us to remember our mortality, writing, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't a call to selfishness, but a reminder to prioritize what truly matters. How often do we delay our dreams because we're too busy helping others achieve theirs? Imagine an artist who puts down their brush every time a friend needs a favor. Years pass, and their masterpiece remains incomplete. Not because they lacked talent, but because they placed everyone else's needs above their own. This doesn't mean you should stop helping others. Stoicism emphasizes our interconnectedness. However, it does mean you must allocate your time and energy wisely. If you're constantly saying yes to others, what are you saying no to in your own life? Here's a practical exercise. Write down your top 3 life goals. Next, track how much time you dedicate to activities that move you closer to these goals versus time spent fulfilling others' requests. If the balance is skewed, it's time to reassess. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to act with purpose. Do every act of your life as though it were the last act of your life. When you prioritize your dreams, you honor not only yourself but also the people who depend on you. A fulfilled person is better equipped to give meaningful contributions to others. Remember, sacrificing your dreams is not an act of kindness. It's an act of neglect, of your potential, your purpose, and your limited time on this earth. Choose instead to pursue your passions while offering kindness in a way that enhances, rather than diminishes, your journey. Would you like me to expand on the final 2 points? Let me know. This approach ensures deep and thoughtful exploration of each theme while aligning with Stoic principles. 6. Kindness without strength is ineffective. Kindness without the foundation of strength is like a ship without a rudder. It drifts, subject to the winds and tides of external forces. Marcus Aurelius exemplified the balance of kindness and strength, both as a philosopher and a ruler. He believed that true kindness must be underpinned by inner resilience, writing, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What does it mean to pair kindness with strength? It means standing firm in your principles, even when acting kindly requires effort, sacrifice, or discipline. It also means not allowing others to take advantage of your goodwill. Weakness disguised as kindness helps no one. It creates dependency, fosters manipulation, and leaves you feeling powerless. Imagine a leader who is endlessly accommodating to their team, always saying yes to requests, and avoiding conflict to maintain harmony. At first, this might seem admirable. However, over time, their inability to say no or enforce boundaries undermines their authority and the team's respect. Decisions made from a place of weakness fail to inspire trust or confidence. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that strength is not about aggression or domination. It's about the quiet fortitude to act justly, even in the face of resistance. Kindness becomes truly effective when it flows from this inner strength. Consider this example. Helping a friend in need is kind, but enabling harmful habits under the guise of support is not. Strength allows you to discern when your kindness serves others' growth versus when it hinders it. To cultivate this balance, practice assertiveness. When offering kindness, ensure it aligns with your values and boundaries. Strength doesn't diminish kindness. It amplifies it. A kind act, performed from a position of power and clarity, has far-reaching effects. Reflect on this. How often do you confuse kindness with compliance? The next time you feel compelled to act kindly, ask yourself, am I doing this from a place of strength or weakness? Marcus Aurelius reminds us that true strength lies in mastery over oneself. Build that strength, and your kindness will inspire, empower, and uplift not only others, but yourself. 7. Overkindness to yourself leads to complacency. We often focus on kindness toward others, but what about kindness to ourselves? At first glance, this seems unquestionably positive. Yet Marcus Aurelius warns us of the dangers of indulgence, writing, "You must build up your life action by action and be content if each one achieves its goal as far as possible." The Stoics understood that too much self-kindness, when it veers into indulgence, can lead to complacency. Consider how easy it is to justify skipping a workout, procrastinating on a project, or indulging in unhealthy habits in the name of self-care. While these decisions might feel kind in the moment, they often lead to long-term dissatisfaction. True self-kindness involves discipline and the courage to demand more from ourselves, even when it's uncomfortable. Marcus Aurelius practiced self-discipline as an emperor, enduring hardships and maintaining his commitments despite overwhelming responsibilities. He knew that self-indulgence might offer temporary comfort, but would ultimately weaken his resolve and his ability to lead. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is a reminder that growth often comes from facing challenges head-on, not avoiding them. To strike the right balance, practice mindful self-reflection. Ask yourself, is this act of kindness toward myself helping me grow, or is it holding me back? For example, resting when you're genuinely exhausted is an act of self-kindness. But skipping responsibilities out of laziness disguised as self-care is not. Here's an actionable exercise. Each evening, reflect on your day. Identify one area where you were kind to yourself in a way that supported your goals, and one area where you might have been too lenient. Use this awareness to guide your actions moving forward. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that life is fleeting. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. Be good not only to others but to yourself in ways that nurture discipline, resilience, and purpose. When you embrace this kind of self-kindness, you elevate your life and unlock your true potential. Kindness is a beautiful virtue, but as Marcus Aurelius taught us, virtues must be practiced with wisdom. When kindness is guided by clarity and balance, it becomes a source of strength, not a burden. By understanding the 7 ways kindness can go astray, we gain the tools to align this virtue with reason, ensuring it serves both our purpose and the people around us. Here's my challenge for you. Reflect on these 7 lessons and ask yourself which one resonates most with your life right now. Write it in the comments and let us continue the conversation. If this exploration of kindness and stoicism has brought value to your day, consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing for more insights. Remember, true kindness starts from within. It's not about pleasing everyone or sacrificing your well-being. It's about acting with integrity, strength, and purpose. As you go about your day, let Marcus Aurelius's words guide you. Be like the rocky headland on which the waves constantly break. It stands firm, and around it, the seething waters are laid to rest. Until next time, stay thoughtful, stay balanced, and most of all, stay kind.